Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So I recently bought this new brushless impact driver made by Excel from Tools for Trade website here in the UK. I paid £34.99 for it. So in this video I'll be doing an unboxing, testing and review of this impact driver. So here it is, the impact driver from Excel, the brushless compact impact driver, skin only, 18 volt. So this is the body only, no battery and charger included here. And on the front it shows you all of the range of the Excel power tools that you can use these batteries with, the standard 2 amp hour, and they've got a 5 amp hour battery. So what does it say on the box? We've got 18 volts, max torque 220 Newton meters. It's a 1/4 inch chuck. Rated speed 0 to 1100, 0 to 2150 and 0 to 3000 RPM. So it has 3 speed modes on it, this impact driver. Impact frequency 0 to 1500, 0 to 3000, 0 to 3800 BPM. And it has a work light. So now I'm just going to open up the box. So very basic, no nonsense packaging here. A small box, the impact driver, the manual and a belt clip, and that is it for the box. Pretty good if you live in say a small flat and you don't want to deal with too much cardboard. This is a nice neat little box. It's pretty much all you need. Here is the belt clip. Here is the impact driver itself. And there's the manual. As I say, I've got a battery here already. Slots in nice and tight. There's the work light. So now we'll take a closer look at this impact driver. I'm just going to install the belt clip. In the hole I can see down in there there's metal, so it shouldn't tear out. That's good. And you can attach it to either side of the impact driver. Very easy to install. That's now on and ready to use. So now to add a bit, I've got an impact bit here. Simply just pull this forward, put the bit in, drop it back. That's now locked in and ready to use. So first impressions, nice, compact, comfortable impact driver. You can see the top section here. It's pretty small compared to my hand, nice and compact. It's a little bit thick and chunkier across the top, but all in all it's nice and compact. So it's brushless at the back here. It's got this rubberized protection around the top and at the front here. Rubberized handle, nice and comfortable. Feels good, feels chunky and solid. So this impact driver has 3 controlled modes on it, so you can take it slowly or increase the rate of impact. There's a button here, so I'll just press the trigger. You can see it's on the slowest mode, and if you listen, it's quite slow. And let's just see how many speed settings it's got. About 6. Really nice, delicate trigger for an impact driver. And then if you press this button, you can choose mode 2, mode 1 and mode 3. So here's mode 3, mode 2, Mode 1. Okay, so now I'm going to weigh this impact driver. The bits on here, the belt clips on here, I'm going to weigh it first with a 2 amp hour battery. 1,535 grams, so 1.535 kilograms. Now without the battery, (1,144 grams or 1.144 kilograms. So here it is with the 2 amp hour battery, and here it is with a 5 amp hour. So let's just measure the sort of distance across the top here, because as I say, it is quite short and stubby, which is a good thing. So the overall distance from the back to the end of the chuck is about 125 millimeters, so that's pretty short, and that's great if you're in some confined spaces, in a cupboard trying to get to an awkward screw, for example, and you've got limited space, especially with a nice short impact bit on here. It could be quite useful. So I've been using this impact driver for the last couple of months now, and I found it to be very useful, especially when driving in screws on small projects where you don't want to split the wood. This impact driver gives you very good control over the power. As you can see, I can drive in small screws without splitting any wood. So all in all, for general DIY use, I found it to be very good. So now onto the testing. I'm going to drive in some screws into some softwood. I'm just going to start off with some small screws on mode number 1, so the slowest, most delicate mode, just to give you a good idea of how accurately you can drive in screws without putting down too much power. And you can hear the impact driver, it barely even uses the pendulum hammer action. It just relies on the torque that it has, and you can get really accurate. So now moving on to some bigger screws, starting off with a 62mm wood screw. I'm driving all of these directly into softwood. Now a 65mm decking screw. I wouldn't normally do this, but this is a good way of showing the power that the impact driver has. So a 75mm decking screw, again these are going in really quick, and I'm using the top mode, mode 3, to drive these in. A 75mm screw again, and no problem at all. Now a 90mm screw, so fairly big screw. Now a 100mm screw. And now a really big screw, 120mm, probably the biggest screw I'd use anyway for most situations. And as you can see, it doesn't have any problem driving this in. And here is a 100mm coach screw. This should give it a real test. The shaft on these is quite thick. It takes its time here, it's not fast, but it does get the job done without a problem. So for a quick summary of the features of this impact driver, you have the keyless chuck here. This part pulls forward and allows you to put the bit in, and then it locks it in place when you let go. There's a rubber moulded grip on the impact driver. It has the neutral position on the trigger here, forward and reverse, and then there's an LED work light here which comes on automatically when you hit the trigger, and then it will go off on its own. There's a belt clip here to hang it onto your belt, and it has 3 modes here for torque control and some speed control simultaneously. So the number 1 mode is great for very detailed work, small screws, as not to split the wood. You've got a sort of medium mode which is for general use, and then a fast mode if you're in a hurry and you've got a lot of screws to drive in. So that's a great feature too. With this impact driver being brushless, so it doesn't have carbon brushes, so there's less resistance on the motor. That tends to give you more torque in a relatively sized space, if not smaller, and it also tends to give you better battery life. I have found the battery life to be excellent on this machine. I haven't had a problem with it. I've been using it with the 2 amp hour battery and it's done just fine. If you were going to do some work all day long with it, you probably want to put the 5 amp hour on or bring a spare 2 amp hour. I'm just speculating, but I haven't noticed any problems with the battery life. It's pretty good in my opinion. Okay, so that is about it for this video. So my first impressions on this impact driver, bearing in mind that it is a budget impact driver, very good. I like this impact driver. It's comfortable to use, it's relatively lightweight. In terms of sound, it's relatively loud, although every impact driver I've ever used has been loud, so that's not really a criticism. It has plenty of power. I think it looks quite good too. It's got the belt clip and it's got these modes here. In the past, a lot of impact drivers just had sort of 1 trigger, 1 speed setting, and now you've got these 3 modes which control torque and speed. So it allows you to use the impact driver a little bit more like a screwdriver, so you can drive in smaller screws and not have to worry too much about splitting the wood. You can go really delicately, and I think it's great for that. I think this is probably the best impact driver I've used in terms of controlling the speed and the accuracy of what you're driving into some wood. So that's good. All in all, I think it's a good tool. Would I recommend it? Yes, bearing in mind it was only £34.99, so I think it's a decent tool for the money. So if you did find this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more DIY related videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.